I am thrilled. Let me just say that I'm thrilled about having the opportunity to showcase all the brilliance and the beauty of HBCUs. There was a time in the industry where it's like people will say go down. It's always a step down to come to an HBCU, and there was always a comparison about what we could provide and how we presented ourselves publicly versus what some of the larger institutions could do. I just never subscribed to that mantra. I was, we're excellent and we're going to show you that, and we're going to give a positive experience for our student athletes. So what we've seen with technology, everything doesn't cost a lot of money. You just have to be really creative. And that's what you see in this economy. Those who are really creative can make things happen in ways that people believe that we could not. And so I believe the same thing for the GCAC. There are so many ways with social media that we can now have our own voice. We don't have to have an official station come and do our interview and share our story. We can be creative and tell our own story and share the brilliance that exists within us. And I am really excited about having the opportunity now for our schools to get some of that shine and to say, hey, we're here too, and able to do. One of my favorite quotes was from Dr. Kimbrough, who I spent the last 10 years working for during my time as athletic director at Dillard. He wrote an article where he talked about these rankings that come out and how they rank schools that have a lot more money and a lot more resources higher because they have different metrics in terms of graduation rates versus what it looks like for HBCUs. But he said, if you want to make it equitable, he said, we need to look at a scoring system that's a lot like swimming and diving, where you look at level and degree of difficulty. And that's a part of the equation. And when you add in degree of difficulty, you would see HBCUs rise, and you'd see HBCUs be at the top in number 1 and number 2 and number 3 when you add difficulty in there for the work that we are doing with the resources that we have. What we've been able to do in developing the Black middle class is unmatched by any school that has tons of resources. And so we have to really begin to craft our story and talk about that, and then highlight those in our community who are doing that work and who have become basically our pride and joy. I mean, when you think about, and I know this is, I'm the commissioner, I'm the sports, but I am the ambassador for the HBCUs in the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference. So it's not just what we're doing as athletics, it's also what our institutions are doing wholly for the Black community and people that are now going into communities and they're doing great work. So yeah, the shift, it's past time, it's our time, and we're going to take advantage of this time. So what I see happening, and this kind of gets into the name, image, likeness. In 2019, at the NAIA 2019 convention, we passed name, image, and likeness legislation, where student athletes who are participating in sports at an NAIA school could begin to make money off their image and likeness. What I see happening is an opportunity for students who have an entrepreneurial spirit to take advantage of that. When we look at specifically Black and brown communities, the wealth gap is where we're always challenged. Well, what if now they have the opportunity, as they're getting their degree, to also get the support to understand how to build their own business and create wealth for themselves and their own community a lot earlier? So there are things in terms of financial management now that are being brought forth that we weren't really talking about because they didn't have much money to manage. Matter of fact, we weren't trying to help them do any of that. We weren't helping them understand how to communicate, develop their own brand, or how would they have a conversation with the brand that they wanted to represent. They couldn't make that kind of money. Well, now they have the opportunity to see themselves, as Jay-Z says, a businessman, not just the product. Not just the product that's being used and somebody else is making the money. So when we think about direct player effect, I'm excited to see what kind of solutions and entrepreneurs are going to be launched from now having the opportunity to take the creativity that they have to utilize social media in the way that the young people have really embraced it, and how do they develop those things to move forward and hopefully tackle that wealth gap a little bit. And we also know that in money management, the earlier that they have access to this kind of education, that they start putting the money away now, compound interest. We need millionaires that can donate back to our universities, to our sports programs. They don't have to go to the NBA to be a millionaire. They can start their own brand. That levels the playing field in a way that we haven't had a conversation about. Oh, GCAC Rising. So I am thrilled about it. So GCAC Rising was born because we were having a conversation about membership. We were creating a membership deck, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what are our benefits when we have the opportunity to go and sell the GCAC to potential schools that we want to join us. We wanted to have an official presentation. We wanted to put our best foot forward and say, why do you want to be a part of us? We wanted to make ourselves as attractive as possible. And so on the slide, he had championships rising. And I was like, you know what? It needs to be GCAC Rising. The past 3 years have been hashtag GCAC Forward. We have completed all of the goals and steps in that past 3 years, because it was interim. Now we've got to we have to signify what's next. And we're definitely on the rise in terms of how we are going to present ourselves, what we will look like. Having a full-time advocate now on behalf of all of our programs, we're rising, and that's where we are. So we will spend the next 3 years. We're climbing a mountain. We're building. We're setting a solid foundation. We want people who are interested in partnering. And when I talk about partners, I'm not just talking about members now. I'm talking about sponsors. We want them to know that if they become a part and partner with us, that we are on the rise, and they can be a part of that and grow with us. So we're really excited about it, and we're going to work really hard collaboratively with the membership to do our best in representing what it means to rise. And think about it, we're a wave. When you think about our logo, GCAC Wave, it's water, and water rises. And well, when the tide is high. So I'm saying the tide is high. When you look at the footprint of our alumni, the key piece is looking at the footprint for alumni and how we can engage those partners in those areas. So it's not just the schools, but in all of our markets, we also have people there who want to be a part, who want to support, who are looking for entertainment in ways where their HBCUs can be celebrated too. We hear a lot about our larger schools that have football, but our natural rivalries within our conference are, I tell you what, it's really amazing. And so the opportunity now to somewhat be centrally located and have places where our alumni can get to, I think really, really is going to help us build this thing to where we want it to be.